All right, Andrea Johnson is with us today, and Andrea from Bodilogix. You're in your yoga studio today, eh?
I am. I'm in a very beautiful space where we do yoga, and we've been known to do a little Zumba, I might add.
What is that color on the wall? Is that some sort of like mocha coffee flavor?
That's a great question. Actually,
it.
it's gold. It's a
Gold.
metallic gold paint.
I
Of course it is.
clearly need a new webcam. That's what I need. We're going to start off with 2 truths and a lie. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
3 facts about each other. 2 are an absolute truth. 1 is a fabrication. You have to pick up which one is the fabrication. You want me to go first?
Yes.
Okay. One time back in the early 90s, I met Rodney Dangerfield at the Tweed Fair. I rolled a car at the age of 15 and lived to tell about it. And I once drank beer with Tom Wilson of Junk House while he was in his underwear. Which of those 3 is a lie?
Rolled a car when you're 15.
Nope. Fact. Did not have a driver's license. Very lucky to walk away with it. Might believe in angels because of that accident, but I'm here to tell about it. No, the lie was actually meeting Rodney Dangerfield at the Tweed Fair. I'm not even sure if Tweed has a fair.
I'm feeling they do, but maybe not with Rodney Dangerfield.
Probably not. Although Ashton Kutcher was in town with Mila Kunis a couple of weeks ago. They were eating at Cucina downtown.
Really?
Yeah. True.
Well, they're shooting a movie in Coburg. Is that correct?
I think so. Yeah. They were staying at the Best Western too, I think. Okay. Your turn. 2 truths and a lie.
Wow. Okay. 2 truths and a lie. I have swam with great white sharks. I jumped out of a perfectly good airplane. Ridden on the back of an elephant. 2 are true, 1 is a lie.
I'm going to say the plane is a lie.
The plane is true.
Oh, sharks.
The sharks are true.
Dude, you were in Africa posting elephant photos for like 6 weeks, it felt like.
But I never rode on the back of one.
You didn't ride on the back of one after all that?
No. I fed them. I hugged tusks and legs, and I did just about everything else legally you can do with an elephant. I did not ride an elephant.
I have this image of you now humping an elephant in the middle of Africa with his legs.
Oh, pretty much, Yeah. Oh, I gotta tell you. Well,
what a creature they are, right?
Bit of a love affair with elephants. Yeah, it's fascinating.
When you said I swam with great white sharks and jumped out of a plane, I'm like, check. Of course you did that. Why wouldn't you? Which, by the way, I would like to do both. Both of those I have swam with sharks before, just not great whites. Jumping out of a plane is still on my bucket list. So, congratulations, buddy. Now let's talk a little bit about, because want to get into a little bit of your business life. I want to talk a little bit about the Andrea Johnson that we know. You've been in Coburg now how long? 15, 20 years?
I have lived here for 15 years, and I've had my business here for 14 of those 15 years. As of, let's see now, September the 17th coming up.
Take me back to what life was like prior to Coburg. Who the hell was Andrea Johnson? Where did you come from? And when did you decide, hey, maybe I should open up a fitness business here?
I was in Toronto, married. I was a trainer for the training room, actually head trainer downtown at Lakeshore for quite a while. Loved it. I mean, really cut my teeth, honed my craft, and then was in charge of other trainers and programming and design and, directing the team. So stopped to have a baby Henry, and started in my little studio in my loft. I had a loft, Carlisle and Queen, right downtown Toronto. And of course, it's an odd vocation being a trainer. You don't really have mat leave, whatever. So, you have sort of mat leave, a little bit of government help, but at the same time, Toronto's expensive. So I put a studio right in my loft and took clients, that wanted to come and play with me and my baby. And kept working. And my husband at the time, David Long, was working construction, and he was doing a huge project in Newcastle. And the drive back and forth on the 401 between Toronto and Newcastle every day wasn't going to be, good for anybody. So he rented a cabin at Tower Manor Lodge, and that's how we ended up in Coburg. So
Wow.
I was here every weekend out in, down here in the East End. Henry would learn to run on the beautiful lawns of Tower Manor Lodge, and water and just, fresh air and sunsets and spectacular. And then I would have to drive to Toronto on Sunday night or Monday morning. And, when you're driving into this metropolis of brown haze and you've got the baby in the back, you start to ask yourself some questions like, hey, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm on the treadmill of life, if you will, working hard, trying to make ends meet, living in the city. I don't have green grass for my kid to run on. There's a big brown cloud over where I live. I'm bringing up a child in the city, all of those fears and worries. I myself was raised in Newcastle, Ontario, just down the road in a cornfield. And you want to try and maybe do that for your kid too, right? And
Oh, yeah.
literally, like, that was August. We moved into the schoolhouse that I currently reside in now, out there in the hills. October 17th, literally, like, it was decision time.
Yeah.
Let's get out of the city. This is before getting out of the city was cool.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And we were this young hip couple that moved to Coburg, and we were the rarity. And then, you know what, Joel, I couldn't find a job. I never even thought about that. I just thought about getting out of the city with Henry and
Yeah,
giving
then you get here, you're like, oh, I have bills to pay. Now what?
right. I got to get a job. And I thought, gosh, I'm really good at what I do. I've been honing my teeth already for how long now? And I did have a rather cool gig in Toronto. So I did the 401 back and forth for a while. That gets old fast, especially
Sure
when
does.
baby number 2 is on the way and you're like, oh, I really need to commit to my new community now.
Yeah.
And I have the funniest story. Every time I tell it, I think, gosh, did I really do that? Like, that's right up there with crazy things you've done in your life.
Yep.
That I'm not sure if I would do that now. Well, I couldn't do that now, and that's okay. I was 7 months pregnant, like out to here, second baby, when I opened my fitness studio. And I stood in front of Cindy Dixon and I said, okay, so I want to lease this space.
Right.
I'm going to open a fitness studio. And I'm probably not going to be able to pay you rent for like 6 months because I'm pregnant and I'm having a baby.
She's looking at you going, are you high, woman? What's
No,
wrong with you?
I didn't tell you. She said, okay. Right? Because I'm in Coburg and there's these magical people that want to help you get your go, right?
Yeah.
And I think back and I think, first of all, who am I at 7 months pregnant opening a fitness studio? And second of all, who is this woman to say, you know what, I believe in you. I think you're going to do this. And I'm going to bet my odds that you're the winner.
One of the cool themes that has come out of your career, and I think your personality, from what I know of you, is that you have this kind of fearlessness to do stuff like that. Like, I'm just going to jump off the building and maybe I'll land or maybe I'll splat, but ultimately I'll figure out a way to make it happen. And that sort of, that sense of everything is figure outable seems to be pretty strong with you, because you've made decisions like that over the years that have worked out in your favor almost every time. Like, where does that courage or blind faith kind of come from in you?
If you put some of these things on a paper with like the pros and the cons, like we're constantly being, told is a good technique of how to make a decision,
Right.
I would never do anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I had an extraordinary event in my life. It's a very good question. And I don't think a lot of people know the answer to that one. I'm going to tell you. I was 25 years old and I hit an 18-wheeler head on. And I shouldn't be here. I spent a year of my life in 3 different hospitals learning to do everything again. My pelvis was cracked in half, shattered leg, internal injuries. It was not a good scene for quite a while. And you learn a lot about yourself when you almost have your life taken from you.
Sure.
And one of the things that I came out of that experience with was just grateful to be here. I made one wish in my moment, is, it's cliche, but, time stands still, time goes slow, whatever you want to say. And, I'm going to land on the front of that 18-wheeler that's coming at me. There's no way out of this. And I might not live. This could be it for me. So
you saw it coming, like you thought
I knew
this is it.
this is it. And then you have your conversation with, the benevolent being or God or whoever, you hold it in the highest regard as in charge of things. And you ask a request or make a deal or whatever you're going to do, right? You negotiate. I made an ask. I really made a statement, and I said to whatever, if now is my time, I'm okay with that. But I would really like to have had a family. I think I would have been really good at that. I will miss not my mom. And crashing metal and that horrible sound and, whatever. And I will never, ever forget that. 2 reasons. I'm always still at a loss as to why I relaxed and just gave in to that so easily. Like, if this is my time, I'm good.
Well, you're not going to change it at that point. It's happening.
Right. And you give into it. And then I asked my ask and just said, the one thing that I think I would have really loved to be able to do was to have a family, to have children. I think I would be really good at that. And I've listened to my kids all the time, Joel. It's funny we're talking about this, like watching them get on the school bus the other day, and I howled with laughter inside. I'm careful not to give it away too much. I don't want them to think I'm making fun of them or that I'm laughing at them, but those moments are never lost on me, because that was my ask. And here I am with these 2 young people in my life that bring me so much joy.
That's
and I
amazing.
just think, here you are, right? So that is the moment in time where fear went out the window. I made it through that. I made it through all the recovery process, which was awful. That's how I got into weight training in the first place, from a very broken body. People don't realize that, I know. And that's why I'm so passionate about my vocation and what I do and how I do it. And I just let go of being afraid, because you have one life. You have one life. You have so many years, and you need to be the solution to the problems. You need to be the answer for people you need to serve. And you need to find, happiness and joy and experience everything that you have a flavor for, because then it can be gone, right? So swim with sharks, jump out of planes, open businesses, make people's lives better.
I would think after surviving a head-on collision with an 18-wheeler and having to rebuild yourself back, the thought of going, I got to figure out how to pay some rent for 6 months is really not that big a deal in that perspective check.
Right?
Like, well, but you answered my question beautifully, because my question was, for most people, the thought of taking a leap like that, or changing a vocation or a location, a move, anything like that, it can be crippling because of the unknown. I as humans, we like to be sure of stuff, right? And
sure,
that fear of the unknown paralyzes a lot of people, and it keeps people in jobs they don't want to be in, or keeps people in relationships they don't want to be in, or lives that they don't want to be in, whatever the case may be. And like, you've just had this pattern over the years of just taking the leap and figuring it out as you go. And you've built your network of friends, co-conspirators, I like to call them.
Pretty much.
Your community in your fitness world in Bodilogix, like, your community is this kind of, I look at like a merry band of pirates that are there to have fun and sort of not only change their bodies, but build friendships and relationships. And I think you kind of exuded that in my experience when I went to Bodilogix. And God, you made me walk 100 kilometers, which I've never thought I'd ever do, which was kind of awesome. That fearlessness kind of rubs off on other people. Like, I think you must see this every day you must have clients that break through milestones they never thought they'd ever reach.
I think everybody ultimately is looking for a partner in crime, Joel. They really are. And all the things that swirl around in a mind that people keep to themselves because they think, whether that's selfish or whether they think they can't do it, or all the constraints and barriers that people or their upbringing, it can come from so many sources, right? put on themselves. I think that is one of the most important jobs I think I'm supposed to do, because it seems to be a reoccurring theme in my life. And that is kind of helping people by giving them permission to, express and to experience and to try and to fail.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
right. And we have lots of conversations about that here, and to, take baby steps towards a new direction that maybe your that calling, or you see the light. And I know we so often as humans, we get stuck in patterns and routines and behaviors that can be, unhealthy, conflicted, breed unhappiness, depression. And to try and help people even just see those things within their own life, and then make those tiny changes that can result into bigger changes and bigger changes and ultimate changes, taking them in new directions. I mean, that is the high that I have the privilege of having in my life by the people that somehow are looking for their partner in crime, which is me.
Co-conspirators.
Yes. It's
But it
it's
must
so
be
much more than leg lifts, Joel. It's so much more than leg lifts.
no, but that's what I mean, Andrea. Like the leg lift, we joke, like the leg lifts and the fitness side of it are the kind of end result, but that every person has a different journey, especially when it comes to fitness, because everybody's got an idea in their head of what they're capable of when it comes to their fitness, and they've got an idea of what their limits are. And I think
Well,
part of your job,
unfortunately, a lot of them have just bad memories of grade 9 gym class.
yeah, absolutely, climbing the
Right.
rope, and you think back, if you grew up in the 80s, let's be honest, gym shorts were not flattering on anybody.
There's a lot of nightmarish,
Yeah.
memories
And the
attached to
change
fitness.
rooms, a tough place in grade 9. So I think, but people have those perceived limitations that they think, I could never get into fitness because I could never do that. And realistically, the goal is just get moving, start moving.
Yeah, totally.
But B, they start to realize their body can do things they didn't think they could do. And I think part of your job is helping take that lid off and realizing the ceiling is only where you put it. And when
Totally.
they move that bar and they get to a different level of fitness, it changes their internal self as much
Everything.
as their physical self. And that's the kind of thing I think that you must get incredible purpose out of, watching people go through that transformation.
It's the greatest high of my days, is watching the change. And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as additional oxygen into the body. Like, you watch how the thinking changes when the body moves. And we talk about, obviously increases in confidence, body awareness. Confidence is the big one, because I mean, whether it's your job or your family, your wife, spouse, husband, whatever, your children, walking down the street. I mean, everything that you do when you're looking after your physical self is so much easier and much more pleasant. And the emotional and the mental lift, once your chemistry is working, and fitness can be such a great pharmacy for your mind, in terms of just opening yourself to new experiences, or just enjoying the moments of life that you took for granted, or just holding your head high and approaching everything wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, and taking it in. It just feels like now you are free of the rock that was in front of you. When you push life and everything's hard, and then those obstacles are free from you. You're strong, powerful, and you can move your body well. Your mind works well. It's all connected. And the more that we can make that connection in terms of moving our physical self, it doesn't take a lot. And like you said in the beginning, it's really just breaking some bad habits, and 30 minutes of movement a day. 30 minutes of movement a day.
Just to get started, right?
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, even at the height of it, if you could find an hour 3 times a week, you'd be amazed at, the payout that comes your way when you are dedicating that, even not a lot of time, to your physical being. And then, in the grand scheme of things, I love when clients just get absolutely addicted, if you will, or hooked on having fitness as part of their life, whether it's shaking it up, time on the bike, time in our beautiful forests, hiking, walking with friends in some of the beautiful country roads that we have. it doesn't always have to be lifting weights in the gym.
Yep.
Although we know the value of that to the aging body. The population is almost critical in terms of keeping our muscle mass up and our bone density strong and all that good stuff. But I mean, to fully round out a fitness in a way that includes friends and, and movement, like, you don't have to walk 100 kilometers, but, to go on a 40-minute walk with a friend and talk is the best therapy, mind and body, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the other spin-off from taking control of your physicality and your fitness and being and feeling better and feeling stronger is that it makes a huge difference in your emotionality and your ability to cope with stress, your ability to cope with difficulty. And you've had 2 traumatic life experiences in the last 2 years. And I'm wondering how your fitness fits into that. You've been through separation and divorce. You've been through the pandemic on the business side where your livelihood was taken away for a year and a half, essentially. And I'm wondering how you work through both of those, because they almost happen simultaneously. Like, how did you work through both of those things at the same time while raising 2 little kids and figuring out, oh, am I going to still have a business in 6 months or a year? Like, what that level of terrifying, I think, for a lot of people would do most people in. And it seems like you've come out of it the other end thriving.
Well, I'll tell you, I had online learning in the mix in my kitchen. The first COVID shutdown, I think we all did the same thing because we did not know what we were dealing with. And we all hoarded toilet paper like it was going on the stove for some weird ass reason. I don't know. And then we ate our faces off and everybody baked bread. I don't know. You couldn't find yeast in this town to save your life.
Sourdough is your best friend.
Oh my gosh. And you'd go down the chip aisle and it was just like Beirut. It was like gone. So like everybody else, I FaceTime to try and reassure my group or my, I tried to stay in touch with as many as, and that was right out of my, comfort zone, but I would FaceTime from home, a Facebook kind of live and just like say, hi, just, everyone's making out and hang in there. And, we're all watching the news and learning every day about what we're dealing with. And, we just need to talk to each other and, you need to remain some sort of social creature because we are, and, look after each other from a distance. So we did that. And I baked and I ate, and I actually added quite a bit of weight to my frame, like so many of my friends. And I'm sure part of that, it wasn't only just like, oh gosh, what does COVID mean to my business? I mean, at that point we thought it was going to be a short, shutdowny thing. By the second shutdown thing, we knew, if you remember, we were in trouble. A global pandemic. We were in trouble, and
it was bad.
We were all like, "What's going to happen next?" And that was really stressful. And I think that was, I could see lots of Facebook feeds going about alcohol, and people were struggling. We all were. For me, I was going through a separation at the same time. And that was another layer of absolute stress needed to happen. It was never a good time, but this was when it was going to happen. I went to what I knew I needed to do. I went outside, right? Because COVID in the world, outside the trees don't know that there's a global pandemic.
Right.
Spring is springing. It didn't know there was a global pandemic. I hiked my face off. I spent a ton of time in the woods. I learned so much about the area that I live in that I never knew. And by the third shutdown, had really committed myself back to my fitness and thought, well, what can I control? I can't control COVID. I can't control whether we're open today or we're closed today or how this is going to turn out. Terrified is the word that I would use as a business owner, and I'm sure I'm in good company.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to survive this? I will do everything I can within my power to survive this. I also have the luxury or the privilege, or I don't even know what you call it. So grateful of incredible members that would call me personally and say, what do you need? I won't let you go down. I need you there. You can't go down. What do you need? And I, to this day, am overwhelmed by the generosity of members that did not have a membership due in forever and say, today's the day I would like to renew my membership. And I would say, but we're not even open. And they'd say, I don't care. I would like to renew my membership. Can you do that for me? And I would just be like just overwhelmed at, again, my members worried and just absolutely making sure me and my kids were okay and that my business would be here when this was all said and done. So I hiked, I accepted generosity from my friends. I talked to as many people as I could. I got to the gym. I listened to music. I got back into music. I spent a lot of time in the fields and forests and just tried to self-talk.
Yep.
Everything is going to be okay. Every sign in the universe is telling me that this is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And I believe it. I believe it. So here I am. Spent some time in the gym. That's something I could control. Made sure I ate correctly because we can all go down that slippery slope and that doesn't help anything. Made sure I sort of controlled alcohol consumption because that can get pretty crazy. Tried to fly right. Spent some fantastic time with my kids. And that, again, is the gift of COVID. Like, who gets to spend that amount of time with their children?
Right. Especially at your kids' age. They're just grade 9 and grade 11 this year. And they've been through the traumatic experience of separation too. So you get a chance to kind of rebuild with them on a private level as well, right?
Super tight time, right? Where we all just really needed that because we were in each other's faces all day, whether it was online learning or just hacking around or yard work or Nerf gun wars or whatever we had going on that day. And just, yes, guiding my kids through separation. I mean, it's never fun. It's never easy for any of us.
Nope.
You have some pretty grown up conversations, but the fact that we were witness to each other's life so much, I think it gave them a good understanding of who their mother really is. Mm-hmm. And certainly gave me a fantastic understanding and time to just watch how incredible my kids are.
That's
right?
So cool. That's so cool. I think, and to tell you the truth, your kids get to see kind of mom in a different light too, because now they may not see you as just mom. They may see you as this completely different person who has helped guide them through this, who has, while trying to manage a business, while trying to motivate and help and support others, and while recommitting to your fitness and living the lifestyle that you like to promote. And I think you've shown that on your social media feed. Before we let you go here, you've shown that on your social media feed. You've just been posting photos of your workout, and they're kind of like physique photos. They're really interesting. They're black and white, with your Doc Marten boots on, which they sent you free boots, which I thought was pretty cool. And you've just called it My Art. And I'm wondering what feedback you've gotten from people on those photos, because some of them are pretty powerful.
I've gotten incredible feedback from those photos. I have to tell you, first of all, for me to take a selfie is right out of my comfort zone. Like, if you know me, you know I'm not that girl. And the fact that I started this My Art series, I was encouraged by a girlfriend who said, you need to take pictures of this because this is crazy. And I do this because I love this and I love the feel of the strength and I love to lift and all that good stuff as a former competitive bodybuilder. No interest in going on stage again. I just like to sculpt. It's my art. And she said, that's what it is. Your art. You are art. And I said, okay, I'm doing this. So I started with my iPhone 12, just taking selfies of just various shots that look really cool and, whatever, and playing with them. And I have gotten messages from people I don't know, very supportive. I mean, if I'm ever having a down day, I just got to, read what comes back to me, little comments about appreciating it or, liking this pose or whatever. And then a side whack of messages of people, asking me fitness questions, right? Like,
how did you do that?
And I don't know who they are. I don't know where they live. I don't, they're somewhere out there, but they'll be like, when I put on some weight, is there any, exercises should I do sit-ups work? Like all kind, like from all over, right? Whether it's an educated question if somebody's been at it a while or somebody just, is deciding right now that their pants are tight. I don't know, right?
Right.
But, either way, I've had time. So I'll answer. Sure. Yeah. Oh, well, maybe you should try this, or, I don't know you that well, but maybe what about that? Or take a look at what you're eating in a day.
Try not to eat the whole cake in one sitting. That would be the start. Yeah.
Maybe just, one plate for dinner, just simple rules, right? Get some green stuff on there, veggie, just basic. But and just even a lot of like, I'm really enjoying your pictures. You have a really nice physique, and who doesn't want to hear that, especially after what we've all been through. And here I'm rebooting my business at a certain age. Who doesn't want to hear that? It gives me a little lift too. That kind of makes a girl feel, like it wasn't a waste of time, and that people are appreciating the art,
Yeah, that's very cool.
my art.
It's very cool. And I hope people get a chance to check it out. For people that haven't seen it before, give everybody the particulars of Bodilogix, where they can find out more about you, where they can find you online. I think this conversation has been pretty compelling for a couple of different reasons, and your story is compelling. And I hope people get a chance to check out more about what you're up to. Best way to get in touch with you or find you online?
Bodilogix.com. That's my website, Facebook page. You can go to bodilogix.com and get on Instagram, get on Facebook, and lots of stuff comes from both of those platforms. I generally will send different pictures to different platforms. Ooh.
What's that? Sorry?
I'll generally send different pictures to different platforms.
Gotcha.
So if you're an Instagram friend and you're a Facebook friend, you see different stuff.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't want you to see the same stuff, right?
That would be boring.
Right? You got to shake it up, keep it interesting. And of course, that's my next job is like, ooh, I got to start taking some more pictures. So then I got to start thinking about, the creativity of it all. And every once in a while, there'll be a night. I was here on Saturday night. There's a really great group of shots. I have to say, it was hotter than hot. I think it was the hottest night in August. And here I am like a bonehead doing a workout because my kids are with their father and I've got nothing to do on a Saturday night. So here I am lifting weights, sweaty, hair. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, you know what? These are great pictures. Like, this is what it's like to be working out at, this heat, this hard. And this is what the muscles do when they are warm. They grow exponentially and they look really fun and cut and strange. And, kind of like, but you get some really, really great shots, right? So you never know when those photo opportunities kind of show up, when the sun just comes in the right way or the lighting seems to, I've never really been that arty of a person, but my mind's kind of started exploring that. And that's been really fun for me too, as a quasi,
well, you're going to end up a photographer.
Selfie pro sudden.
I was going to say, you're going to end up a photographer the way things are going.
It's a fascination of mine for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Listen, I know you got to run to a client. Thank you so much for doing this. Listening to your whole story, because I think I recall 100 years ago, you told me the truck story about the 18-wheeler. I'd completely forgotten about that and how it drastically changed your path. Congratulations on everything with the kiddos and a sort of new lease on life moving forward. And the fact that your business has survived through all of this and your community is thriving. And thank you for the inspiration for everybody too. And I hope everybody gets a chance to check things out and maybe poke their nose in Bodilogix and see how you're doing. So
absolutely.
Continued success ahead, my friend, and keep posting the pictures. They're awesome.
I will do that. You guys keep asking for them and I'll keep posting them. Fine, right?
Awesome.